Welcome to A Journey to Happy Happy. I'm Autumn, mom, spiritual mentor, angel Reiki master, and also just a human figuring it out just like you. This is the place you come when life feels a little loud, a little chaotic, and you need just a moment to come back to yourself. Because here's the thing, life doesn't have to be so serious. You can hold your emotions, I can hold mine, and when we meet here, we don't have to fix anything. We just get to be. We get to laugh, we get to breathe, and actually enjoy the moments we're in. That's what happy is. Not perfect, not forced, just presence. So wherever you are right now, driving, walking, hiding in the bathroom for 5 minutes apiece, you made it. You're here. And this is your reminder that the journey you're on right now is already worth celebrating. Welcome back to your journey, back to happy. Welcome back to A Journey to Happy. Today, I want to talk about something that sounds so simple, yet it's probably one of the hardest things we'll ever learn. And that is, how do we actually let go? How do we actually let go and finally be okay? Not pretend we're okay, not suppressing our emotions, also not letting ourselves convince ourselves that we're healed by bypassing the absolute thing that causes so much dis-ease in our body. I mean, truly releasing it. I think a lot of us are walking around carrying emotions that were never meant to become permanent roommates, that is actually controlling the days that we live in, the emotions that we live in. Because, friends, everything is energy. So if you think about this, if we're suppressing something, that is still being carried around with us every single day. Whether that's stress, fear, resentment, old identities, stories about ourselves. And when we keep dragging them into every new season with us, we wake up tired. We go to bed exhausted. We always are responding from fight or flight. We never actually get to be in the present moment and choose what our happy is. Today, I want to share something that has completely changed the way that I look at healing, and that is the art of detachment. First, I feel very blessed because I have an Aquarius moon. So, detachment is something that my energetic body needs in order to be. And so for some of you, this is a lot harder said than done. For me, it comes like a little bit of an art. So spirit always sends me signs, symbols, and I am one that literally looks up the spiritual meaning of just about everything because I feel like the universe communicates through itself to us. So recently I kept seeing frogs everywhere. And when I say frogs, I mean like both my kids come home with these frog creatures and I'm like, where did this come from? Oh, grandma sent it. And then I'm at a softball game and my grandma's like, look at my new decor on my car. And it's a frog. And then she's talking about getting a tattoo and the tattoo she wants is a frog. And I'm like, okay, I have to look up this lesson. What is the spirit? What is it? What is the universe trying to show me right now with this frog meaning? And so I started thinking about nature. And then I started thinking directly how nature really never wastes anything. And frogs are such a great example of this as well because every week they shed their skin. And then this is so gross and I'm not judging, but because it's powerful, they turn around and they eat it. And I know it sounds so strange, but when you think of it a lot deeper than surface level, it's brilliant because the old skin still contains nutrients, and the thing that no longer serves its original purpose still has something to offer because nothing goes to waste. And then I thought, humans are probably the only creatures who try to throw away every imperfect part of themselves. Think about that. We try to erase our past, forget our pain, shove it all down, push it away, pretend our grief never happened. But what if our wounds still contain nutrients? What if your heartbreak becomes compassion? Anxiety becomes wisdom. Your biggest failure became the very thing that helps someone else heal. We aren't meant to throw away our experiences. We're meant to transform them. We do not heal by running away. One thing I've learned is releasing isn't deleting. Releasing is a form of integrating. And sometimes we think healing means pretending something never happened. We avoid, distract ourselves. But eventually, this all becomes dis-ease that's manifested in the physical body. Life has a funny way of bringing the lessons back around. They never stop looping. They're going to show up again and again and again until you understand that specific lesson. Life moves in loops. Have you ever noticed that different jobs have the same type of people? Different relationships carry the same feelings, the same triggers? You can run all day long, but you're really only running from yourself. And until that one day comes where you stop reacting and you start observing, that's when the fresh breath of oxygen hits. That's when the healing begins. The moment you can watch your own thoughts and observe them from a higher perspective, the moment you stop believing every single one of them, everything changes. Your whole life will change. You stop asking, why is this happening to me? And instead, what is this trying to teach me? That is my favorite question to ask myself. I love to detach. I love to learn the lessons. And sometimes I am so thick in it because I am human too. And these things don't come supernatural. I mean, I'm aware. I'm probably very aware, but my human life comes first typically because I'm a mother and I am a work from home mom and I'm doing all of the things that daily life is so good at keeping us looping. But late at night when I'm in meditation and I get to observe my day, that's when I learn. What is this trying to teach me? That one question can change your entire life. One book I absolutely recommend to every single soul and every single human here on this earth plane is The Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins. One of my biggest lessons I've taken away is that we spend so much of our energy trying to control things that were never ours to control. It is a total trauma response. We cannot control another person's opinions. We cannot control another person's choices. We cannot control if someone understands us or not, if someone wants to stay in our field or not. We cannot change someone else. And friends, that isn't our job. Our job is to stay connected to ourselves because the more tightly we grip onto life, the more exhausted we become. Let them be them. Hold space for yourself. Show up still. Don't run from them. These people are on their own life and their own paths and their own lessons. But you showing up authentically yourself helps heal them because they see something in you that they desire within themselves. And one day, the way that you hold your authenticity, they're going to come to you and ask you, how do you do it? How do you make it so effortlessly? Now, here's something I think gets missed in the spiritual world. Detachment is not, red flag, it is not emotional avoidance, okay? We have to feel our feelings. We cannot bypass our emotions. We have to feel them. Our body is meant to process and feel the things that we are feeling. If you are living every single day completely happy, nothing bothers you, that is great. But I invite you to just ask yourself if you're bypassing. And if you are, Go a little deeper. Take a deep breath in. Feel what your body is trying to show you and honor it. Move it through your body. Cry, journal, walk. My favorite is screaming into a pillow. I still do that. I'm 30 years old, and sometimes my rage gets to me where I have to let it out. Healing isn't pretending that you're okay. This spiritual journey isn't pretending that you're okay. It's allowing yourself to be human without unpacking and living there forever. We recently just moved into a house, a house to call my home. And it took me months to put pictures on the wall or to even decorate. And I didn't understand why. I didn't understand where my fear was in this. And I realized I never had a house to call a home. I always lived out of a suitcase or was literally moving from house to house to house to house to house to house to house, whether that's family members' houses, friends' houses, boyfriends, ever since I was in eighth grade. I never had a house to call a home. So, working through those emotions that I suppressed of security and safety by decorating my home was something that gave me so much compassion for the younger version of myself. Feelings are visitors, okay? They're not meant to be permanent addresses. Everything in this universe is energy. Science tells us that. Spirituality tells us that. Your body tells you that. You can walk into a room and immediately feel tension, or you could walk into a room and feel peace or excitement. All of a sudden, you want to dance and let loose. You don't have to see it, you experience it, which means every belief you continue to feed, every story you continue repeating, every emotion you refuse to process becomes part of your energetic blueprint. That's why awareness matters, because awareness changes energy, and changed energy changes your life. Whenever I'm navigating something difficult, I ask my spirit team for signs. Always. And I don't ask for simple signs like feathers or 111 or 222. I ask for the most ridiculous things like Garfield, or back in the day in the 90s and early 2000s, you would see those lucky rabbit feet everywhere. They would come in like a keychain. I ask for that. I ask for something so random that if I see it, I know that it's meant for me. My mind can't tell me otherwise. And every single time the universe shows up and answers, they show me that sign. Just a couple weeks ago, I asked for the rabbit's foot. About 4 days later, my dad showed up in his truck, and my son wanted to drive in his truck, so he opened the door. And when he opened the door, the rabbit foot was hanging on his shifter bar. Mind you, I didn't tell him, oh my gosh, you don't understand how much that rabbit foot means to me. But my whole heart had to take a step back, and I had to take a deep breath because I could not believe what I just saw with my own eyes. I've seen my dad and him pull into my driveway and open his truck door 1,000 times, and I've never seen that hanging there. Another time I asked for Garfield the cat. Not long after, I was driving down the highway and there was a Garfield stuffed animal strapped to the hood of someone's trunk, bobbing along the highway as if it had no grip on reality. And I laughed so hard because that's exactly how my energy felt at that time. Like, somebody please pull this truck over because I'm barely hanging on. The signs didn't magically solve my problems, but they reminded me I wasn't carrying them alone, and they gave me guidance on which direction to go. That is so important. That is, if I trust anything, it is this universe. It is this God creation. I trust that over anything. So if there's anywhere or anyone you want to be guided by, it should be the universe. You should ask for those signs. Today, I want to leave you with a few questions. You don't have to do this as homework, but just in case you feel called to complete these questions, I feel like it's a start to start observing. What are you still carrying that no longer fits who you're becoming? What old story keeps looping through your life? If that story no longer took up your energy, what would you finally have room for? And maybe the biggest question of all, how can you use your old skin as nourishment instead of something to be ashamed of? Friends, happy isn't about becoming someone new. It's about remembering who you were before fear convinced you otherwise. Nothing you've lived through has been wasted. Every heartbreak, mistake, season of grief, lesson, it is all nutrients. Your job isn't to erase your story. It's to transform it into wisdom because when you stop fighting your past, you finally have the energy to create your future. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. If this episode spoke to your heart, share it with someone who might need the reminder that healing isn't about throwing ourselves away. It's about learning how to lovingly transform what we've lived through. Until next time, keep trusting your signs, keep choosing yourself, and keep walking your own journey to happy. Thank you for taking this journey with me today. Wherever you're listening from, whatever season of life you're in, whatever you're carrying, I hope you remember you don't have to have it all figured out. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to build something, and you don't have to wait for someday because the journey really is the joy. Until next time, happy.